James Angelos, The Full Catastrophe, travels among the new Greek ruins. In James Angelos' The Full Catastrophe, travels among the new Greek ruins, the complex Greek crisis is meticulously examined, tracing its roots from the moment Greece entered the Eurozone in 2001. This book's summary highlights key events and themes including the country's unsustainable credit bubble, the shocking revelation that Greece faked its numbers to join the Eurozone, the effects of the credit bubble bursting, and the intervention of the Troika comprising the European Central Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the European Commission. The introduction pays special attention to the political turmoil and the desperate plight of Greek citizens and refugees amidst the ongoing crisis.
Greece's economic deception. When Greece joined the Eurozone in 2001, its economy was thriving, and Greece's strong growth rate of 4% each year appeared sustainable. However, this growth was supported by a credit bubble instead of investment in industry and technology. The government increased wages, pensions and benefits rather than improving industry performance. Consequently, the country failed to export enough goods to cover its rising debts. Greece falsified its numbers to meet the Eurozone's criteria for membership when it didn't meet them. In 2009, the government's accounting revision revealed Greece had a projected budget deficit of 12.5% of GDP, instead of the previous estimate of 3.7%, and previous, widespread misreporting was identified. The Greek debt crisis. The Greek debt crisis caused a series of downgrades in its credit rating, which led to investors pulling out of the country and skyrocketing borrowing costs. The situation caused devastating effects on the Greek economy, with companies failing, unemployment rising, and banks closing. The crisis also had significant repercussions on the entire Eurozone, as much of Greece's foreign debt was held in German and French banks. Other Eurozone nations were also in financial trouble, and the support from more stable countries like Germany and France was crucial to limit the crisis. Discover how international bodies and creditor groups intervened to counter the crisis. Crisis in Greece. In 2009, the Troika comprised of the European Central Bank, IMF, and European Commission stepped in to offer Greece a package of debt relief and loans. In exchange, Greece would have to enforce certain political and social reforms. The biggest debt restructuring in history followed, with Greece receiving €245 billion in loan pledges and a reduction of €107 billion in debt. The country, however, had to implement a series of austerity measures causing protests and riots by its citizens. The public sector wages were cut, limiting spending power and, consequently, weakening the economy. Though the bailout had a negative impact on Greece, its situation caused a revolutionary change in the country's political ranks. The political fallout of Greece's debt crisis. When Greece faced a debt crisis, its Social Democratic Party, PASOK, was in power. EU ministers demanded PASOK Prime Minister George Papandreou accept a second bailout program, causing public outrage. Papandreou cancelled a public referendum on the issue and resigned, leading to Loukas Papademos being sworn in as Prime Minister. The extremist parties gained power in Athens, leading to a parliamentary election in May 2012. In June, New Democracy formed a new government with PASOK, but Greece continued to struggle financially. In 2015, anti-austerity platform Syriza with leader Alexis Tsipras won elections, enraging European creditors and setting up a showdown. Greek disability fraud. The Greek government was plagued with a disability and pension fraud crisis during the economic downturn. One of the most notable cases was on the island of Zakynthos, where hundreds of locals faked blindness to receive monthly disability checks, with the help of local doctors. This resulted in a rate of supposed blindness that was 9 times higher than other European countries, and collected over €9 million in state benefits. The issue wasn't limited to Zakynthos, as Greeks across the country would fake disabilities in exchange for bribes. The state social security system had no central database, resulting in pensions being paid to deceased individuals. The government eventually began compulsory checks, discovering that 36,000 people were receiving fraudulent benefits. However, the greater issue was tax evasion across the country. Greece's economic woes and tax evasion. Greece's economic crisis has shed light on the country's long-standing issue with tax evasion, especially among the wealthy. While middle and lower-income citizens bear the burden through raised taxes, wealthy individuals often evade paying their fair share, with some even declaring earnings far below their actual income. The government's efforts to address tax fraudsters have been lackluster, with few facing court cases. Meanwhile, corruption among tax auditors allows the wealthy to escape punishment. Despite promises to address the issue, the government has raised taxes on small businesses, exacerbating the economic struggles of the middle class. Greece's economic problems continue to be a topic of concern, with tax evasion among the root issues needing to be addressed. The Untouchables. In Greece, the public sector is a haven for job security with a guaranteed pension plan. Protected by law, public servants cannot be fired even with a change in government. The result is a bloated bureaucracy with untouchable employees, regardless of their work ethic or behavior. Despite efforts to reduce costs and eliminate positions, early retirements and reinstatements maintained a surplus of high pension retirees on the books. Greek economic crisis. The Greek economic crisis has resulted in widespread poverty, unemployment, and desperation. Highly qualified young people with college degrees are fighting for the most basic jobs, while elderly pensioners search through dumpsters for food. Austerity programs have only made things worse by cutting wages, pensions, and benefits, and raising taxes that disproportionately affect the weakest segments of society. Despite being billed as a way to help Greece's economy recover, bailout packages and rescue programs have only imposed harsh rules, pushing Greek society further into penury. Today, more than a third of Greeks live in poverty, and the country can barely care for its own while receiving an influx of refugees each year. A bleak reality for refugees in Greece. Fleeing war-torn countries, African refugees arrive in Greece seeking asylum. However, Greece is overwhelmed, ill-equipped, and has a slow asylum process, leaving refugees in crowded and inhumane conditions with no access to basic needs. Human rights violations, torture, and negligence in detention centers are also prevalent. This reality forces many to return to Turkey and try their luck elsewhere. Greece's immigration policy and racism are detrimental to its future as a welcoming tourist destination. Greece's far-right resurgence. Greece's far-right party, Golden Dawn, gains popularity by fueling racism and xenophobia. Despite violent attacks on immigrants, police and high-ranking officials still support the party, which remains the third strongest in the country. A turning point came when a Golden Dawn member stabbed and killed a Greek rapper, leading to the arrest of party leaders and widespread rallies. However, the party still won enough votes to remain in parliament. Greece's struggle with cultural identity. Greece has a long history of cultural influences and foreign rule, leading to differing interpretations of Greek history. Nationalists seek to rid the country of outside influences, while progressive politicians embrace multiculturalism. The Greek Orthodox Church is hostile towards foreign Jewish investors and opposes Turkish immigration, with many officials endorsing the nationalist approach. Thessaloniki Mayor Yiannis Boutaris faced opposition from the church in naming a street after Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, as he was born in the town. Amidst this, the country's struggle with cultural identity continues, with Germany now seen as another foreign enemy. Greece-Germany, past grievances, present discontent. In May 1941, two Greek men tore down a swastika flag hoisted by the Germans. Today, Greek resentment towards Germany continues due to the country's austerity policies. Many see it as a new form of occupation. While the Nazis committed horrendous crimes against Greece in World War II, the resentment now stems from the financial crisis, a form of economic war. Due to bailout stipulations, many Greeks can't afford necessities. Envy also fuels the conflict as Germans enjoy a better standard of living and a growing economy. Poor communication between governments worsens the situation. German politicians often talk down to Greece, and Syriza politicians spread falsehoods about Germans. Manolis Glizos, a hero of the Greek resistance during World War II and a leading member of Syriza, compares Germany's austerity policies to Nazi occupation.
Based on Angelos' deep exploration of Greece's financial predicament, the full Catastrophe draws the reader's attention to the turbulent history of the nation, from the counterfeit portrayal of its financial stability to the harsh aftermath of the credit bubble bursting, severely impacting the entire Eurozone. The summary also emphasizes the pressing issues of tax evasion, public sector mismanagement, and Greece's struggle to accommodate incoming refugees. As the nation wrestles with political unrest, the fight against a rapidly declining standard of living, and inherent racist tendencies, it is evident that the crisis in Greece is yet to be fully resolved. This book illuminates the complex and compelling story of a nation in turmoil and its consequences not only for Greece, but the entire European Union.